our muscles get tense. Okay. How do they do this? They get tense from just daily living. They can get tense from a sleeping position. They can get tense from the way you moved the day before. There's many different ways that a muscle could get tense. And how it does this is it just tightens up. So your brain is telling your muscles to tighten up. Okay, and this is how it gets tense. So you can physically think of like this is a relaxed muscle. When it's tense, it's starting to pull together. Those muscle fibers are tensing up. Okay. And how can you provide relief to this? You can massage, you can gently stretch, because once we start to release those muscle fibers, then you'll find some relief because it's not in that constant tension. So if you have fibromyalgia, you've probably felt tension before. And even if you're someone that is watching this to show support for someone that has fibro, you probably have felt tense muscles before. Okay, so it can happen after a workout, but for us with fibro, it happens just more so from daily activities of life. Okay, so and how do we provide relief to this? Well, one thing I want to look at is fascia. And what is fascia? Fascia is essential. Okay, it's an essential part of the body. And the biggest thing is to determine whether your pain is due to muscle, joints, or fascia. And this can be difficult. In general, muscle injuries and joint problems feel worse the more you move. However, with fascia, this tends to feel better with movement and also respond well to heat therapy, which helps bring back the tissue's elasticity. So we see this more so in people with fibromyalgia. You may have an actual injury to a muscle or joint and have some issues there, but when it's just general pain that has no specific cause, we mostly see a lot of tension and it can be caused from fascia. I always like to explain fascia is like a spider web that we build up overnight. And this is supposed to happen, but when you move throughout the day, it breaks this up naturally. So people that are not moving, that fascia is just building up and building up and building up. And it almost turns into like a scar tissue, a tense muscle, or stiffness. It can show itself in many different ways. You could even be inflamed. And this is what we see here. Unhealthy fascia can lead to tight muscles and stiffness. So limiting your mobility can cause pain. Okay. Learn what fascia is and how to prevent and relieve fascia release muscle pain. So this is with movement. Okay. For some people, these fascia adhesions is what we like to call them. When it gets super tight, it can turn into what we're going to talk about here. This can worsen over time, causing the fascia to compress and contort the muscle it surrounds. So this can result in hard, tender knots in the muscles called trigger points. So you may have heard knots before, or you may have even felt yourself have a knot or a trigger point. So this is an area of intense pain. You may have heard trigger points before, and we talk about them because that is a way to diagnose fibromyalgia. They go through all of the trigger points, and if you have more than 11, then you're considered to have fibromyalgia. Some people call them tender points as well. So, what is fascia? It's a layer of connective tissue below the skin, and it supports tissue and organs. This lessens friction, it eases muscle tension, it tightens up relatively quickly and reflexively, and it can help bloodstream. Okay, so it helps the blood flow. And with fascia, I like to explain what it is after, because even though it is a good thing, it can be bad. Okay, so that's why you want to help keep things moving throughout the day. Motion is lotion. Okay, I always say that motion is lotion for the body. Right, and how about some stretches for alignment? These are the best stretches for alignment. So we get into cat cow, and you'll see a lot of this in the exercise and stretching portion of the program. We do cat cow a lot. Okay, so as you inhale, you open up the chest, gently lift the chin, and as you exhale, breathing out, you'll gently round the spine, chin comes towards the chest. And you'll notice that when you're doing this, those jelly discs that are in between each vertebrae of your spine are being stretched and relaxed. They're helping to create some cushion in those vertebrae. Okay. And this is super helpful in lubricating those joints of our spine which helps to bring us into alignment. Because think, if those muscles are tight in the spine, how are you going to do any of these movements, stretches to help open yourself up and keep yourself nice and tall? All right. So when you're doing the cat cow, remember that I don't want you to push yourself to pain. So let's say if you're inhaling and it's starting to hurt when you come back, maybe only go right here. And then when you exhale and it hurts to come this far, then maybe you only come to here. So it can even be something as small as this. All we want to see is that movement of our spine and our hips. Okay. So for me, for example, I tend to struggle with this movement. Okay. So this hurts into my lower back and my sacral area here. So when I do the cat cow, I only go maybe a little bit. I'm really just focusing on opening up the chest and lifting the chin. And then exhale, I can go a little bit further because that does not hurt me as much. Okay, so you'll do that about 12 times, and you can do this 3 times back to back or do it throughout the day. Morning stretching and night stretching are very good. You may find one that's better for you, but they're both very good. And you can even do in the middle of the day as well, whenever you're most likely to stretch. And if it helps to keep a consistent time and day, then I would do that. Okay. Another one is a supported fish posture. So you could see here in the picture here, we have someone doing a supported fish. So you can do this with a pillow, you can do it with yoga blocks, but I prefer you do it with a big pillow. And you can even stack a couple pillows because you want it to look like this. We want the chest to be open, you want the palms to face up, and we want a slight curvature in the spine. So just a slight curvature in that lower back. Okay, and you'll just breathe there, you'll hold it. If this does not feel right to you, you can even do it very small. So have a smaller pillow, but we just want to have the back supported as our chest is gently opened. Okay, that's the goal, is we're opening up the chest. The last one is Apanasana, and you'll see this as well, but we pull those knees in towards the chest as you inhale, and you exhale, you can slowly push the knees away. You inhale, pull them in, and exhale, push them forward. And this is going to keep it nice and relaxed in our lower back. So that's very important with our bodies, is to keep those hips and in alignment, because it helps to strengthen our pelvic floor, which is super important. Okay. Those are the best stretches for alignment when we're looking at the main areas that get out of whack or imbalanced or have incorrect posture. Would be in the hip area, the lower back area, the shoulder area, and the neck. Okay. And even throughout the spine.